Good evening. On this Ash Wednesday Eve, we are now going to be sending out this message since the weather was not cooperating. So what I originally had planned tonight for everybody in store was that we were going to do something a little different. We were going to encompass Ash Wednesday service with the Chosen Bible Study. And so originally what I would have had you do is come in and we would have put the imposition of ashes on you first this year. Because then as we sat and we watched the episode 6 of the Chosen Bible Study, I wanted you to sit there with the ashes on your forehead and feel and be in the moment of what that would have looked like for you, for the men and women, the different disciples, those who followed Jesus. What does it mean on Ash Wednesday? Well, yes, it's the kickoff to Lent. But most importantly, it's a reminder of our humanity. It's a reminder of our sinful state. It's a reminder of our guilt. And Jesus becomes our ultimate guilt offering. It's a time to reflect on that which, maybe what we want to give up, that which has been holding us back from becoming who we really can in Christ. But as my hope was, as we were to watch this episode shows all the different people, both Jews and Gentiles, those who have been struggling for years with either infirmities or heart infirmities. Those failings. Those men and women who maybe they were healed once, but yet still never feel worthy, never feel good enough. We see where other ones are actually following Jesus, but they find themselves in a time of sheer struggle. Sometimes I think we think that when the disciples started following Jesus, they had it all together. They didn't go through humanity. They didn't go through all those human emotions and those thoughts, and maybe the times of doubt, maybe the times of still anger and frustration, of hurt and pain. They were human, just like us. And just because they were following Jesus and not knowing what tomorrow held didn't mean that all those human emotions just dissolved. My question to you is, what does it look like for your life right now? We go through different stages and different journeys in life, whether it be through grief, whether it be through loss, maybe it be through a change in career or a change in family. What are you struggling with right now? Maybe there's something that you have been holding on to for years, for decades. Grudge. Somebody wronged you a long time ago and you just have not been able to let that go. You're not alone. If truth be told, that's probably more of us than not. We looked today in youth group at Matthew chapters 5 through 7, which start out with the Beatitudes, but they really are the Sermon on the Mount. And as I said, if you don't know anything else of the Bible, and you only have the opportunity to learn just 3 chapters, those are the 3. If you get those 3 chapters, you pretty much get it all. This is Jesus' teaching. And he was talking a specific thing about anger, and then he was talking about before you can bring your offerings to God, you need to first go and reconcile with the person that you're really upset with. The Chosen did a really good job of this with Matthew, who was the tax collector. So for him to become a tax collector, that meant he had to turn his back not only on his family, but on his Jewish faith and community. He had to give all that up. Now, I'm sure as parents, you could only imagine, and maybe you have, the hurt of when a child changes and goes astray and hurts you emotionally, maybe physically. But it's during this spot when Jesus is talking on the sermon and he comes to this part that hits Matthew really hard. And he's thinking about this, and he is now following Jesus, so he's given up his ways of tax collecting and following the Roman lifestyle, and he comes back to make amends with his parents, not knowing if they would ever accept him again or not, but knowing that he needed to get that burden off of his chest. I love how when the Chosen shows this, that his parents not only embrace him, but realize that they were wrong too for some of the things that they said. As we come to this time of Ash Wednesday, I can't help but think about Jesus talking. This is kind of the theme for the whole third season of The Chosen. But it's the scriptures from Matthew 11, starting with verse 28, when Jesus says, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." That's why we enter Ash Wednesday. That's why we enter into this Lenten season as we prepare for the time again of that last 40 days of Jesus' ministry, his ultimate sacrifice, which then leads to the glorious Easter resurrection. But before we can do that, this gives us a chance to sit with our past griefs, maybe our past failings, maybe those things that have held us and tied us down and shackled us, and the yoke has been so heavy and so hard that we've struggled for so many years under the weight and the pressure, to the point of feeling like we're ready to crack. Jesus says, now is the time. Unleash yourself from that yoke. Take on my yoke, because it is so much easier. And when you cast your cares on me, your burdens will be light. So as we come tonight, remembering all these things, I thought a very fitting song reminded me of those men and women, the men and disciples, and maybe their wives, and those that followed Jesus from the very beginning. They were all men and women just like you and I. They all had the same struggles. They all had the same problems. Only new ones now, because they weren't quite sure what to make of this young man who claimed to be the Messiah. For those who felt it in their heart and in their bones and knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, and those who were still struggling to accept, but inching ever so closely. Those that had given their life and then bad things happened and left them wondering, how could Jesus not have stopped this? That might be the question you're asking tonight. How could Jesus have allowed this to happen? How could God have allowed these horrible things in my life to transpire? And where do I fit in? Listen to the words from Ralph Carmichael. The song is titled, "Come As You Are." Everyone wants to be born to be free. Nobody wants to live half-heartedly. Somebody's missing the chance now to be newborn and turned on completely. Come to him now, just as you are. Why keep on looking near and far? This is the moment that you've waited for. Don't put it off anymore. A better time there'll never be. A better place you'll never see. While you are here and he is so near, come to him just as you are. That's all Jesus asks. Just come to him as you are, your broken, sinful state, because his yoke is easy, his burden is light, and his salvation is for all, including you. God bless. Shalom, shalom.